So if you're not telling the judge by that list that you admitted into evidence of his posts that he was away, then you don't know that he was actually away from your daughter Eleanor during each of those dates, do you?
Ooh.
Some of the dates I do know.
Objection non-responsive.
The same.
Yes or no, for each of those dates that you showed this judge on those posts, are you aware whether or not he was actually away from your daughter?
No.
So you just did that for dramatic effect to try to mislead the court, right?
No.
Okay.
Yes, you did. This attorney is earning every single dollar. So imagine being told that you can't see your child even when the other parent is out of town. Well, that's the situation this Dallas mom right here finds herself in. So here she is in front of the judge asking for one thing: a right of first refusal. That's a right of first refusal. In very simple terms, and in this context, that just means that when the dad's away, she wants the first call to keep or watch over their 10-year-old daughter, Eleanor. I mean, that sounds fair, right? Until you find out why the father hired an experienced attorney to destroy her in court and says no. The title of this video reads, "Ex-wife goes mad as dad's lawyer destroys her demands." And shout out to court proverb. No more wasting time. Just get it.
Attorney Hines, would you like to make an opening statement at this time?
I would, Your Honor, briefly.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today, there's a single issue for de novo review for the court's consideration. That's whether you should grant the right of first refusal to my client, the mother. They are the parents of a 10-year-old child. They both live here in Dallas. The evidence will show, however, that father travels often. It's either for his second job as a stand-up comedian or for his job that he took. We believe the evidence shows it's out of New York. His testimony is probably that he works remotely, but he does travel frequently. So, Judge, we're simply asking for the court to reconsider letting my client have the right of first refusal so that she can have additional time with her daughter, who is 10, her most formidable years entering into teenage. Your Honor, Judge Lee did clarify for us this morning that a child custody evaluation will proceed. And so, as you know, this case will have some time before we get to a final trial. And that's why we believe the right of first refusal is extremely necessary.
So we need to highlight that. They're asking for a right of first refusal, meaning the mom, of course, gets first dibs as soon as the father's not available or watching over the child. And the reason why they believe this will give the mother more time with the daughter is they are saying he travels all the time, leaving her behind with other people. Let's keep listening.
Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Attorney Joseph.
Judge, very briefly, Judge, as you know, my name is Brandon Joseph, and along with Kate Matai, I represent Russell Jenkins. What the evidence is actually going to show you today is that by virtue of the prior order in the last modification suit, my client, Mr. Jenkins, was awarded sole managing conservatorship of the child. Mom was awarded a step-up possession schedule that significantly limited her time with the child. So, I heard Ms. Hines say these were the child's most formidable years. However, Ms. Chambers' own actions put some damper on her ability to participate in those years. What the evidence will actually show the court is that my client has not traveled, that mom's statements are speculative at best. What you're going to also learn, Judge, is that one of the reasons why mom's access to the child was so limited, and one of the reasons why my client has sole managing conservatorship, is because mom has significant mental health issues, and we have significant concerns about, her status even as we sit here today. As this court is well aware, and they didn't mention this in their opening because they can't get there, but the burden is on them. And their burden of proof today is to show that what they're asking for would actually be for the safety and welfare of this child. And as this court also knows, several appellate courts in this state have opined and have actually stated that safety and welfare, that burden is higher than best interest. So it's not enough for mom to simply come in today and say, oh, I think dad may be traveling, and because of that, I want more time. There's actually got to be evidence that it's for the safety and welfare of the child, which essentially would show that they would need to show that unless this court enters a right of first refusal, the child is somehow in danger. As this court knows, rights of first refusal are often not granted, often not parts of orders, because it micromanages time. And what you're going to see, Judge, is that what they're asking for is very unreasonable. They're not just asking for a right of first refusal. They're asking for a right of first refusal if my client is away from the child for 4 hours or more. So less than a work day. She wants the right of first refusal when she just during the pendency of this lawsuit, was able to even start exercising expanded standard possession. So with that, Judge, I would just reserve the rest of our time and just ask the court to deny their request and to affirm Judge Lee's prior ruling.
Currently in a powerful position. That's what I have observed about the father currently. A very powerful position. And of course, we're talking about that sole conservator position. And for the sole purpose of making sure that we're all learning along here, it's one of the benefits of reviewing some of these videos. A lot of people who don't like the play and pause and stuff and complain, you guys, the channel's right there. The video title's right there. Let's talk to our AI assistant barista, Ms. Coffee, and ask, what does it mean to be the sole conservator in this relationship? Ms. Coffee, what does it mean for the father in this situation to be the sole conservator when it comes to his child?
Excellent question. This is one of the most important legal distinctions in Texas family law, and it directly explains why this father, Russell Jenkins, had so much authority, and why the mother's request for a right of first refusal failed. Let's break it down simply. Sole managing conservatorship, what it really means. In Texas, parents aren't usually called custodial and non-custodial. Instead, the law uses the word conservator. There are two main kinds. Managing conservator, the parent who has the right to make major decisions for the child, like where the child lives, medical treatment, education, counseling, etc. Possessory conservator, the parent who still gets visitation or possession time, but has limited say in those big decisions. So when the father is the sole managing conservator, that means he alone makes all major decisions for the child. The mother doesn't get equal input on things like where the child goes to school, what doctor she sees, counseling or therapy, extracurriculars, religious decisions.
Wow.
Where the child primarily lives.
Now, I know that's not typically the case here. The mom lost this for a reason. She lost that primary conservator role for a reason because typically that sways towards the mother. Obviously, what's ideal and what should change, this is like default legal custody as well as physical custody, is that should be 50-50 shared, allowing the person who's at that time with the child to make the important decisions. That's what it means when they split everything equally. I'm not saying that should be the case here in this situation if she does not deserve that. But if we use the same term as Texas, then it would be split 50-50 conservatorship along with 50-50 time physically. Let's keep listening.
Lives. He decides who cares for the child when he's not around. That's key here, because the mom wanted the right of first refusal to take the child whenever he's away. But since dad is sole managing conservator, he already has the legal right to choose any safe caregiver he wants, his wife, grandmother, babysitter, without her permission. Mom's parenting time is limited and structured. She probably has a standard possession order or a step-up schedule, meaning she gets specific weekends and some holidays, but dad controls the rest. Mom can't make unilateral decisions. Even if she disagrees with how dad runs things, she has no authority unless the court modifies the order.
Beautiful. Let's keep listening. A quick word from the sponsor of our channel, FathersHaveRights.com. At FathersHaveRights.com, one of our expert attorneys compares marriage to an iceberg. The iceberg represents your future marriage, and you only see 10%. What you don't see are the hidden terms: alimony, child support, custody, visitation. Most men sign that marriage contract blind, focused only on the wedding day. Future husbands, a prenup is the best way to legally protect yourself if you value marriage in our modern day. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section to join the hundreds of men securing their marriages the right way.
Thank you, counsel. Attorney Hines, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call my client, Angela Chambers.
Okay.
Ms. Chambers. Ms. Chambers, can you please state your full name for the record?
Angela Chambers.
And Ms. Chambers, our exhibits have been pre-admitted, but did we submit a brief summary to the court as Mother's One asking for the court to grant your request today?
Yes, we did.
Why do you think a right of first refusal is important?
I think it's important because Russell is often out of town and either...
Objection calls for speculation. I'd like to take her on voir dire.
Go ahead.
Ma'am, you just said that Mr. Jenkins was often out of town. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay, did Mr. Jenkins ever personally tell you when he was out of town away from your daughter?
No.
Okay, I'm going to renew my speculation objection at this point.
Same.
Ms. Chambers, why is a right of first refusal for you important for your daughter?
It's important to me because I want to be able to spend that time with my daughter when, Russell isn't in town.
Okay.
Objection assumes not in evidence as to when Russell's not in town.
Same.
Father's attorney coming in hot.
So, Ms. Chambers, Mr. Joseph brought up a good question. Mr. Jenkins doesn't tell you when he goes out of town, does he?
No.
Exception vague as to time frame.
Ever.
Sustained.
Objection relevant as to ever, because we're in a new lawsuit.
We didn't catch the end of what you said, Attorney
Sorry,
Joseph.
Judge, I'm saying that my objection is to relevance if the question is if he's ever told her, because we're in a new lawsuit, so anything that predates the prior suit would be res judicata.
Okay. Counsel, rephrase your question. I already sustained it.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Chambers, has Mr. Jenkins since January of 2024 ever told you when he is traveling out of town?
No.
Has he ever told you if he's left Eleanor with other adults?
No.
Okay. So Mother's 5. So Russell, how often does Russell do the exchanges with Eleanor at your house?
Objection relevance as to exchanges when we're talking about a right of first refusal.
Your Honor, it goes to how frequent he chooses to co-parent or show up or do any of the exchanges with my client.
Well, the judge.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. So since going back from last year to this year through June, I would say the great majority of exchanges were with someone else other than Russell.
Okay. And Mr. Jenkins' social media posts, Mothers 7 and 8, those are in evidence. Can you just ballpark for me how many times he had posted that he was playing a show in another state?
I would say since January of this year, it would be about 9 dates out of the month on average.
Where's the proof?
Your Honor, may I share my screen?
Yes.
Well, okay, here we go. I love the screen
Ms.
shares.
Chambers, can you see the screen?
Yes,
Okay, so Mr. Jenkins, this is his social media post, correct?
that's correct.
Okay, so 2024 year in review, he says, how many stage performances did he have?
193,
And how many open mics?
101.
And this is a map where he shows all the places that he performed in 2024.
Should we check out some of these guys stand up? I mean, that's a lot of shows. He has to be pretty funny. Also, know that if you aren't careful, right, and you're not already in this situation, not only will you be on child support for 18 years, if the worst happens, but you also have a personal stalker, apparently, who'll be watching every move of your career.
That's correct.
Okay, and so how frequent would you say he was posting that he was out of town on a comedy show?
Objection relevance as to how often he made a post.
Sustain.
How many times did he say he was performing out of state on these between 2024 and 2025?
I would say out of state happened more in 2025 than 2024.
Objection non-responsive.
Overrule.
Ms. Chambers, did Mr. Jenkins ever call you up and say, hey, I'm going to be in Portland, Maine at a comedy festival. Can you keep Eleanor tonight?
No, he did not.
Okay. Currently, you have the standard possession schedule. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You're not supervised, are you?
No,
You have overnights with your daughter?
that's correct.
Do you think that it would benefit your daughter to have time with you instead of someone else if Russell is out of town?
Yes.
Objection calls for speculation.
Fine.
So you're asking the court, based on what Russell has himself said, you're asking this court to allow you to have the time when he travels out of state.
That's correct.
You heard Mr. Joseph talk about the prior order and that you had some mental health issues. As we sit here today, do you have issues that would concern this judge about caring for your daughter?
Objection calls for speculation as to what would concern Your Honor.
Sustain.
Do you have any mental health issues as you sit here today that would impair your daughter?
Objection, she's unqualified to diagnose herself.
It's a personal knowledge question, Your Honor.
That's a good point.
Okay, rephrase, counsel, because your
Yep.
question is, do you have any mental health issues as you sit here today that would impair your daughter?
Right.
I'll rephrase, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Chambers, you have the standard possession schedule currently. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So if you were granted 4 hours or more overnight, if Russell goes out of town Is there anything about that that would cause concern for anyone in this room?
No.
And called for speculation. She can't speak for my client, for example.
Sustain.
I was a good lawyer. Listen to me. The craziest thing that was definitely proposed here is a 4-hour limit of him being away from his daughter and her becoming the default caretaker if he's away for more than 4 hours, when a work day is 8 hours. A standard work day is 8 hours. I mean, really think about that practically. We all work, right? The man probably works majority of the week and he has to see your face and exchange the kid. No way.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Attorney Joseph.
Judge, very briefly, ma'am, you have shared with the judge a litany of things you allege my client posted on social media. Do you recall that?
Yes.
You would agree that some of those dates were actually times where you had your daughter. Is that correct?
When I shared those, it was when
Objection non-responsive.
Sustain.
Yes or no, some of the dates listed were days that you actually had possession of your daughter, correct?
No, not the ones that I shared.
Okay. Isn't it also true that during the time period of those posts that you showed the judge, you were not entitled to standard possession, were you?
I had overnights with her, but
Objection non-responsive.
Sustain.
My question
was,
sorry, Judge.
Isn't it also true that during the time periods of those posts that you showed the judge, you were not entitled to standard possession, were you?
Answer the
I'm
question.
going to object as to ambiguous, Your Honor. There's posts from 2025 and 2024. So I'd
Why?
ask for clarification on the time.
Sustain. Counsel, would you please rephrase and clarify?
Absolutely. The last post that your lawyer had up was from November of 2024. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't have standard possession in November of 2024, did you?
No.
So you're not faulting Mr. Jenkins for not giving you more time when you were on a step-up schedule, are you? Yes or no?
Can you rephrase the question?
My question is that the court dictated how much time you were supposed to have with your daughter during that time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you're not telling the judge that Mr. Jenkins interfered with the court order time, are you?
That's correct.
You also said that you didn't have anything, you want everyone to believe that you don't have any mental health concerns, but you have bipolar disorder, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. In addition, ma'am, you aren't here today saying that your daughter's in danger with any person with whom Mr. Jenkins may or may not.
It's unfortunate that this lady's attorney is that bad that she couldn't have anticipated that. Listen, there are people out here who struggle with things like bipolar. It's not a crime. However, she shouldn't have structured her question earlier like she did not. You know what? She shouldn't have even mentioned that.
Not leave her with, is she?
No.
Okay. And in fact, ma'am, you're here today because of something that you want, not what's best for your daughter. Isn't that right?
I think it's good for my
Objection
daughter.
non-responsive.
Sustain.
Yes or no, ma'am? You're here today because of something that you want, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
oh, you guys see the genius? I'm sorry, I'm going to pause it, guys. This guy's good. Brandon Joseph is good. He says you're here because of something you want. Think of the genius in that question. You say yes, then you're admitting that this has nothing to do with the daughter's safety, really, because at that time he was following the court order and he wasn't putting the daughter at risk, right? So if you say, yes, this has to do with me and what I want and I want more time, you look bad. And if you say, no, this doesn't have to do with what I want, well, what do you want? Then you look like you really don't want it that bad, or it's about the child's safety. At that point, you have to bring proof that the child is unsafe. Bottom line, she's cooked.
and in fact, have you been diagnosed with anything other than bipolar disorder?
I have anxiety.
Okay. Are you currently taking medication for either of those diagnoses?
Yes, I am.
And all of these dates that you showed the judge about comedy shows, based on your own exhibits, you don't know what time those shows were, do you?
Objection. It's ambiguous. Which shows are we talking about? There's hundreds.
Any of them. I'm sorry, my question is, of any of the shows that you showed the court, are you aware of the timing of those shows?
Yes, some of the shows he shared what time they were.
Okay. Do you know if any of those shows took place when your daughter was in school, for example?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it's possible that your daughter could have been in school, and if that were true, then she wouldn't have been left alone with anyone else, right?
Objection calls for speculation.
Well, Judge, my response respectfully is that she opened the door. This is cross-examination. She swore that he was away from the daughter at all of these times, and I think I'm entitled to examine whether that's true.
That mischaracterizes her testimony. She didn't swear that he was away from his daughter.
Hold on. I sustain the objection. Counsel, you may ask your next question.
Judge, so if you're not telling the judge by that list that you admitted into evidence of his posts that he was away, then you don't know that he was actually away from your daughter Eleanor during each of those dates, do you?
Some of the dates I do know.
Objection non-responsive.
Sustain.
Yes or no, for each of those dates that you showed this judge on those posts, are you aware whether or not he was actually away from your daughter?
Just say no. You know it's no.
No.
So you just did that for dramatic effect to try to mislead the court, right?
No.
Okay. I'm going to pass this witness, Judge.
Okay.
Clean
Attorney
her
Hines,
up.
any redirect?
Yes, very briefly, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Hey, contact Brandon Joseph. Listen, quick point when it comes to things like your mental state in a lot of these custody battles. And by the way, this is not medical advice. I'm not telling you to take medical advice from me. I am not a professional in that arena. However, I would caution you because I've seen this play out. I've seen situations where a chick will use things like you have anxiety, right? And this could be something that's not affecting your ability to live life, be productive, but it's something that you deal with. I've dealt with anxiety before in my early 20s. I remember a time when I had more respect for anxiety and things like that in particular. I used to think, well, what's wrong with that person, right? And it was just concern about the future, life, beliefs. A young man trying to figure out life. I'm thankful to God I overcame that when I was young. However, if you're in a custody battle like this, I've seen situations where people use something like anxiety and they'll use that against the father as him not being in a great place mentally. You know, if it's something that you express, especially written, you know, I'll just say, you want to be careful when it comes to that arena. Let's keep listening.
Ms. Chambers, I'm going to share Mother's 8 since there's some confusion about the timing. Mother's 8, you see this post on the screen?
Yes.
When was this?
This was this year in the spring.
Okay, so a few months ago.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not in Dallas. Mr. Joseph just in his opening said that father never travels.
Objection leading and objection to counsel testifying.
Sustain as to leading, don't lead.
Ms. Chambers, what does Mr. Jenkins say in this post at the bottom?
Oh, new office view.
Okay, where is this?
That's in Manhattan. That's the Lipstick Building in Manhattan, New York.
Okay, and so these posts, I'm going to scroll through these quickly, but these are from his social media taken after the last hearing. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair.
Okay, this one right here, Portland, Maine. What does he say?
He says, my home away from home.
Okay, and he did admit in the other, in M7, that was on the map, Portland, Maine. Do you recall that on the map?
Yes.
Okay, so these are all from April forward. This is, what's the date on
What
this one?
year?
May 25th.
Okay, and this is in New York.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay, so just for the court's clarification, Mother's 8 are screenshots that you've taken from Mr. Jenkins since the last hearing.
That's correct.
Okay. Nothing further, Judge.
Okay. All right. Counsel, you may call your next witness.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Judge. I do have some more questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Attorney Joseph, go ahead.
You are aware that your Mr. Jenkins has taken your daughter Eleanor to Maine. Is that correct?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You didn't know he went on a family trip?
No, I was not made aware of that.
You are aware that Mr. Jenkins has provided proof that his job is remotely because we sent an exhibit to your lawyer that we aren't using today, but you've seen that, right?
I've seen that exhibit.
So even after you saw that exhibit, at least yesterday, you're here today telling this judge that you still believe he works in New York?
I think he travels there.
Objection non-responsive.
Dang.
Even after you have knowledge that his job is remote, you're telling this judge today under oath that he works in New York.
Come on now.
Yeah, I'm going to object. That mischaracterizes her prior testimony.
Finish her.
Well, Judge, I think you recall what she just said. He got a job, and that's the Lipstick Building. It's in New York.
She did not testify that he's working in New York. That mischaracterizes her testimony.
Okay, sustain.
Don't think he's working in New York.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
You know he's not working in New York.
No, I don't.
Okay. But you don't know then, either way.
I'm sorry, man. Brandon's a man. I'm sorry. The man's got skills. This dude's over here like, damn, I picked the right man to represent me in this case. Whoa. And they totally destroyed that whole proof about Portland because he's like, hey, he took his daughter with him when he went to Maine, which is important. Just keep listening.
He's there frequently, so that's what I do know.
Has he told you he's there frequently?
No, it's based on
Objection non-responsive other than no.
Sustain.
Have you seen him there frequently?
No.
Okay. And we went through this whole spiel at the last hearing, but you're aware that people can post whatever they want on social media, correct?
Yes.
Whether it's true or not, right?
Yes.
And your whole case today has been based on things that you don't have personal knowledge of, right?
Not my whole case.
Well, Mr. Jenkins hasn't told you anything about his travel, you said, right?
Throw the damn towel.
Right?
No, he hasn't told me.
You haven't seen him anywhere outside of Dallas, have you?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pass the witness.
Okay.
Very briefly, Judge. Ms. Chambers, just to clarify, a lot of the posts that you've submitted in Mother's 8, where are they taken that Russell had posted about?
Objection, I'm going to say it's vague as to a lot. I don't know what a lot of the posts are.
I'll rephrase. Ms.
Angry.
Chambers. Thank you, Judge. Ms. Chambers, which state was he posting about comedy shows since April of 2025?
Frequently in New York.
Okay. So you don't know him personally having gone there because you didn't see him, but you knew from his posts that he had been going to comedy shows.
That's correct.
Objection, leading objection compound. Objection calls for speculation as to what she could have known from a post.
Give me 1 second. I'm reading back the question. Sustain as to leading.
Okay. I have nothing further, Judge,
Okay.
for this witness. Thank you.
Just giving up.
All right. May this witness be excused from the witness stand.
No objections, Judge.
Okay. All right. Attorney Hines, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Call Russell Jenkins.
All right. Mr. Jenkins, if you remove yourself take yourself off of mute.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jenkins, can you please state your full name for the record?
Russell Lloyd Jenkins.
And when did you get this new job with Maple Street Advisors?
I don't work for Maple Street Advisors anymore. That was my business that I sold.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. You work for, what's the name of the company? Stilex?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you spell that for the court reporter?
Stelllex.
When did you get that job? Apologies.
Beginning of June 2nd,
Okay.
I believe.
Since June 2nd, how frequently have you traveled to New York?
Almost none. I think 3 days.
Since June 2nd, how often have you traveled out of state?
Almost none. I think 3 days in New York for day trips and a day or two to Omaha, Nebraska for a day trip.
Okay. When were you last in Portland, Maine doing comedy?
November of 2024.
Okay. Were you at Rodney's Comedy Club May of 2025?
I do not believe so, no.
Okay. So all of your social media posts are just lies about where you are on doing your comedy routines?
Objection,
Argumentative.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can we clarify which attorney is handling this witness for the
Miss
record?
Mattia, I'm sorry. But we make the same objection, but it's Miss Mattia.
Okay. So Ms. Mattia is handling the objections.
Yes,
Yes, Judge.
that objection was that the question was argumentative.
Okay, sustain.
Okay. Mr. Jenkins, you said New York City and Dallas-based comedian. That's your social media, correct?
I don't know what you're referring to, but I believe so.
One of your social media posts, you say New York City and Dallas-based comedian.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Currently doing a residency at Broadway Comedy Club. Where's Broadway Comedy Club?
That is in New York.
Okay. So is that a lie as well?
Is what a lie? I
That you were
apologize.
doing a
Argumentative.
residency. It's not argumentative, Your Honor. This is his personal knowledge. He's posting that he was doing a residency. I'm asking if it's a lie.
To the online.
When I
Did this? Hold on 1 second. This attorney Mattia, did you object?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear your objection. What was your objection?
That when she said, is that a lie as well? That's an argumentative question.
Okay, sustain.
Mr. Jenkins, did you have a residency at Broadway Comedy Club?
Yep.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in New York, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When was that residency?
When I was there for business travel, I was allowed to stop in and do shows.
Objection non-responsive.
There's no date on a residency. I don't know how to answer the question then.
When did you last do a stand-up show at Broadway Comedy Club?
March or April of this year. When you get a residency, you're given a number of spots that you use over a 2
I'm going to
period.
object this to non-responsive after March.
Sustain.
So how many times have you traveled this year, Mr. Jenkins, out of state?
I don't know, ma'am.
More than 5?
I'm assuming we have family in Oklahoma and South Dakota, so I'm assuming.
Okay. More than 10?
I don't know, ma'am.
So you travel frequently. Is that fair?
No, ma'am.
But you can't recall how often you've gone out of state in a calendar year?
I was traveling to meet with prospective buyers of my business when I was selling my business.
Objection non-responsive.
Sustain.
Mr. Jenkins, when you go out of town and you don't have Eleanor with you, where does she stay?
She usually stays with on the rare occasions that happens, she stays with my wife or my mother, her grandmother.
Where does she stay was my question.
Oh, in her room at home.
Okay. And how far away do you live from Ms. Chambers?
I couldn't tell you offhand. Maybe we both live in the Dallas metro.
Okay. Driving distance to one another.
It depends on the day, but 30 to 45 minutes, probably an hour.
That's driving distance, wouldn't you say?
Depends on your definition of driving distance.
Okay. So when Eleanor is in Dallas and you leave, she stays with, you said, your wife, her stepmother, or grandparents. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Attorney Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be taking this witness, Judge.
I'm sorry. Attorney Mataya. Am I saying your last name right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Russell, what are your approximate work hours?
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
And where do you physically work most often?
I physically work from my home office in Dallas, Texas. In Carrollton, actually, to be more specific, in Plano and Carrollton.
Will you explain for the court your day-to-day involvement in meeting Eleanor's needs?
Usually we wake up in the morning, we have breakfast at home, or we get something from Starbucks. She goes to school. When she gets
Your Honor,
home.
I'm going to object as to relevance.
Counsel, what's the relevance?
Judge, there's a suggestion that there was sworn testimony that he's out of town frequently, therefore not able to do these things.
Okay, sustain.
Listen, I'm a bit confused here. I see two attorneys, and it says McClure Law Group at the end of both of their names, right? We had Brandon Joseph right here, and now we have this chick. And part of me is wondering what's going on here. Are you allowed to bring two attorneys to represent you in court? Let's talk to our AI assistant barista, Ms. Coffee. Ms. Coffee, I noticed that there are two attorneys here. Are they both representing Russell Jenkins? You know why I didn't know that right off the bat? It's because, you'll see people who will be waiting for their next court hearing in a lot of these videos. And sometimes you have state attorneys, so on and so forth.
Yes, good catch. There were indeed two attorneys representing the father, Russell Jenkins, in that transcript.
Wow.
Here's how it breaks down. Father's legal team. Lead attorney, Brandon Joseph. He handled the opening statement for the father's side. You'll notice he introduces himself first. Judge, as you know, my name is Brandon Joseph, and along with Kate Mataya, I represent Russell Jenkins.
By the way, guys, I understand that you can have multiple attorneys on a case. For some reason, I just didn't think it worked the same way in family court.
Jenkins. Co-counsel, Kate Mataya. She handled portions of cross-examination and took over questioning the father, Russell Jenkins, directly when he was on the stand. You can see the judge referencing her. Attorney Mataya. Am I saying your last name right? Yes, that's right. Why two attorneys? Having two lawyers in a custody case is strategic. One handles objections and procedure, like Kate Mataya did. The other focuses on narrative framing, delivering arguments, cross-examining witnesses, and steering the emotional tone for the judge. That's what Brandon Joseph did. It also helps manage timing. Texas family hearings often have tight time limits. You'll notice the judge gives them 15 seconds left, etc., so splitting duties lets them stay efficient. Context in this case. Brandon Joseph framed the father as the stable, consistent parent with legal authority and minimal travel. Kate Mataya handled the details, clarifying the father's work schedule, rebutting claims from the mother's attorney, and emphasizing how impractical the right of first refusal would be. Together, they were a two-person team, defending Russell Jenkins's role as sole managing conservator and arguing against the mother's request for additional parenting time.
They're in here tag teaming and jumping this woman. I love it.
Since, Russell, are you in New York frequently?
No, ma'am.
What percentage of travel does your work require in a given month?
Maybe 1-2 day trips a month, but typically I'm supporting companies in Dallas or Houston, Texas. So I'm leave in the morning and I'm back before Eleanor gets off school.
And there was a little bit of suggestion to this, but was there something that happened with your work that required more travel earlier in 2025?
Yes, I was in the process of selling my business, Maple Street Advisors, and I was traveling around meeting with prospective buyers around the country.
And when's the last time you did a comedy show?
Must have been like beginning of June, end of May. It's been a while.
Do you have any booked in the future?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Couple of reasons. One, I mean, it was a hobby of mine to relieve stress, but since having this trial, I just kind of gave it up, because if I post anything or I do anything about it, it causes stress, and so I'll just find other outlets or other hobbies to do.
And as a result of this litigation and based on Judge Lee's ruling, which you did not appeal in a de novo, Ms. Chambers moved up to her current phase of possession early, correct?
I'm going to object as to leading.
Sustain, don't lead.
Where do the exchanges happen now?
At school.
Prior to this current possession phase, who generally delivered Eleanor to Ms. Chambers' residence when that was required?
Most of the time it was either my wife or my mother, even if I was at home.
And why was that?
Me and Angela do not have a cooperative relationship, and I ultimately viewed it as the most beneficial for Eleanor if, we were not having those conflicts or having any conflict or any kind of, meeting in person.
And did you view Mother's Exhibit 5, which has been admitted?
I believe so. Do you mind refreshing my memory what Exhibit 5 is?
Judge, may I share the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see that in front of you, Russell?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is this an accurate reflection of times when you were out of town?
No, ma'am, not at all.
And Russell, why are you opposed to a 4-hour right of refusal?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
So I believe it will cause unnecessary stress on Eleanor, and the routine and candidly is not sustainable. So
Makes no
Eleanor
sense.
has extracurricular activities that go after school hours. She will occasionally have play dates. On the rare occasion that I do have a day trip from work, I'm home before she goes to bed. But how would a 4-hour window, one, be sustainable for Eleanor's well-being and doing homework and doing her extracurriculars or play dates as she's becoming a teenager? And then also, how is that sustainable for us? And if I'm, if I'm in Houston and I hit a traffic delay or I hit a flight delay and I'm 2 hours late, like I'm going to be back in litigation for 4 hours. Like it's not practical or sustainable, one, for Eleanor or for us as a family dynamic.
They really didn't
And
think
for
this
Eleanor's
through.
personality specifically, with some of those times when you might be away from her for 4 hours, do you think it would help or harm her to have this requirement?
Eleanor is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll withdraw my objections.
Would you mind repeating the question? I apologize.
Yes. So with a 4-hour right of refusal, do you believe for Eleanor's personality that would be helpful or harmful?
I believe, in my words, for her personality, Eleanor is a very routine-driven child, and I think that having non-routines would not be good for her. She tends to get stressed and overwhelmed when routines change, so I try to keep her on a routine as much as possible.
Makes sense.
Will you please explain for the court the nature and quality of your communication with Ms. Chambers?
Almost non-existent. An occasional "our family wizard" or text about homework.
Do you believe a 4-hour right of refusal would require a level of communication that's possible and sustainable between the two of you?
No, I'm going to object again as to leading.
Sustain, don't lead.
And Russell, have you recently shared with Ms. Chambers a time when you had work travel?
Yes, I believe I shared when I had a day trip to Omaha, and Angela had time to visit Eleanor during that day on her birthday. And so my wife would be picking her up from her house, but I would be home in time to have a birthday dinner with Eleanor. because I left early in the morning, flew to Omaha for a work meeting, and I was back by 5 or 6 o'clock. But just due to timing, I had my wife pick her up from Angela's residency.
This man's married.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay.
Very
And
brief, very
Doesn't
briefly,
need
Judge.
help.
Are you giving us a time check?
yes, I was just getting ready to. Attorney Joseph and Attorney Mattia, you all have 15 seconds left. Attorney Hines, you have 1 minute and 56 seconds left.
Okay, I'll be quick, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Mr. Jenkins, your testimony was that you stopped doing comedy shows due to this hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but prior to the last hearing in April, you were doing comedy shows very frequently. Do you recall that?
Again, it depends on what you mean by frequently. And
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain.
Prior to our last hearing in this case was in April. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Prior to April of 2025, you were still doing comedy shows, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
How frequently were you doing comedy shows prior to April of 2025?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Multiple times a month?
Probably multiple times a month.
Okay. But all of a sudden today, because we've been delayed for 6 months in this case, you now don't leave the state frequently like you did. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't leave the state frequently, but it's got nothing to do with this case.
Okay. Do you think a right of first refusal then, if you're just gone overnight out of state, that would be a better solution?
Objection, speculation, and
Now they just want to adjust it.
Sustain, rephrase.
If you went out of town overnight, do you think Eleanor should go and stay with her mother?
No.
No.
You don't communicate with Miss Chambers when you go out of town. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Out of state. Let me rephrase. You don't tell her when you are leaving the state. Is that fair?
No, ma'am. I do not.
Primary.
So you don't tell Miss Chambers when her daughter is in the possession of some other family members, correct?
objection misstates the facts and evidence.
Her grandmother?
He just testified that he doesn't tell my client when he goes out of town. So it follows that my client doesn't know when her daughter is with other family members.
Her stepmom?
He just testified that he did inform of the last trip.
One trip. So
Okay.
I can rephrase that, Your Honor.
Rephrase. And that'll
Mr.
literally be your last question.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Jenkins, save and except for that one time that you went to Omaha for work, you've not told Miss Chambers when Eleanor is in the care of other people, have you?
No, ma'am. I believe we both don't.
Objection after no, ma'am. Non-responsive.
Sustain.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Attorney Mattia, you have 13 seconds left.
Russell, the exhibits that show your comedy shows, are those an accurate reflection of comedy shows you actually participated in?
No, ma'am.
And the exhibit showing the picture of New York with the office, can you explain that picture to the court?
Photoshop?
So there's two sides of that picture. The right side of me in my suit is outside of my house in Carrollton. The left side is the view from one of our corporate offices at Stellex, which is in New York. Yes. And I was there for onboarding and to pick up my computer and my phone.
Okay, that was your last question. You literally just ran out of time, counsel. The court is denying the request.
Oh, what a surprise.
Thank you, Judge. Do you need anything else from us? Or are we excused?
Could I have a
Brandon's like, my time here is done.
proposed order?
Sure. I'll draft it, Judge, and we'll circulate it.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, there you guys go. As always, we're going to check out some of these comments. What do you guys think? Did you learn some stuff? What did you think of the whole thing? Top comment here says, this black lawyer, girl, he is on it. Another person here added, bro, can I hire him? Damn, he's on point. Here's somebody else who says, damn, Mr. Joseph is a legal eagle. Much respect to this man for being one heck of a badass lawyer. Very impressive. Here's somebody else who says, Joseph is a Rottweiler. He is the type of attorney that you need and require when you defending yourself at family court. He was professional, intense, and totally on point with his questioning and objections. I think people are going to just be praising the lawyer here because, let's be honest, he had some home runs many times during that court hearing, and it was obvious the direction that this whole hearing was going. Somebody else here says the lawyer is cooking with all four burners. Damn. Another gentleman here says, not going to lie, Joseph Cole. I want to see more cases with him. Bra didn't give him room to breathe. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Here's somebody else says he stayed with his foot on her neck. Here's somebody else who says he's worth every penny. Yeah, we need more videos with attorney Brandon Joseph for sure. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.